Hi, I'm Soraj from Sewing Quarter, the marketing executive, and we are here today at this beautiful location to meet with Debbie Shaw. We are so excited to welcome you to the Sewing Quarter family, and we can't wait to get you on our show.
Won't be long.
I know, so exciting. So we just want to come and ask you a few questions, but do you want to start by telling us all a little bit about yourself?
Oh, okay. I do a bit of sewing. I used to, well, I've sewn for as long as I can remember. My mum was a dressmaker, so sewing has always been part of my life. My career has been in TV, so I've actually worked in TV for 40 years. The two kind of came together when I was working for a shopping channel who started selling sewing machines. Oh, I can do that, I can demonstrate sewing machines. And gradually over 2 or 3 years, it completely took over my world. I began writing books. I've just published my 20th. I started to design and make kits and teach and take workshops, and completely took over from TV, and this is now my life. So I am the unexpected sewer. This is not something that was planned. Yeah. But I think I am the luckiest girl in the world. I get to do what I love.
What is your favourite thing about creating your YouTube content?
Oh gosh, I love actually filming them. It's loads of fun, but we film from home. So we'll have the postman, Gaz comes round about 11 o'clock in the morning. There may be roadworks outside, the neighbours' dogs may bark, so it's always fun. I do have a very bouncy dog who you met and
I have
almost bowled you over earlier on this morning, who makes a regular appearance. And the nice thing is, if she doesn't, people ask where she is, which is really sweet. So it's really fun filming. But I love the editing. I like the technical side of it, yeah. And it's really time consuming, because I know I have a lot of deaf viewers, so I like to put all of the script on there and measurements and things that they may not be able to pick up, you know, if they're not lip reading, if I'm not in vision, that kind of thing. But the best bit is the feedback. It amazes me. As soon as you go live with a YouTube video, you start to get people from all over the world. And it makes the whole world such a small place. So I'll go live, and within a few seconds there's 50 people, and maybe 20 of them have commented, and they're in California, they're in Australia, they're in India, and it amazes me. But the feedback's lovely. It's kind of what drives me.
Yeah. Oh, fab. Yeah. I mean, that is always the best thing, isn't it? Yeah. When you've got, you know, something that you've put all your heart and soul into, and then everybody appreciates it and they really love it.
Yeah, oh, and just knowing they're there, and you know, they're sharing.
Being able to communicate with everybody. Yeah. With being in front of the camera all the time with your YouTube channel, live TV, do you find it quite daunting, or do you feel quite relaxed in front of a camera?
I'm quite relaxed.
Yeah.
I think because when I first started my career in TV, it was children's television. So it's all a load of fun, and you're talking to an average of 8 years old. It's great fun. And then moving on to the kind of audience that we're talking to now, it's more like family. I think if I was reading the news, that may be a little bit nerve-wracking, or if it's a serious message that you have to deliver, I might be a bit nervous about that. But it's just a relaxed industry.
Yeah,
and I think us who are on this side of the camera and you who are on that side of the camera are the same kind of people. So it's like talking to people you know.
What was it that made you want to get into, you know, being on TV and doing that aspect and wanting to show your sewing, but in a way that would kind of go out to thousands of people?
I think it's quite accidental, really, the way that I got started. I've had so many opportunities, going right back to when I first started working in TV, where I was asked, would you like to do this? Would you like to audition for a job on Kids ITV? I've done a bit of acting as well. Would you like to appear in Brookside? I've just been really, really lucky in that respect. So TV has always been part of my life. It's been more of a part of my life than it hasn't.
Okay.
So it just seemed a natural progression to carry on with that when I'm sewing. And sewing on your own at home can be quite a lonely business. It's just lovely to be on your screens, whether it's, you know, on live TV or recorded TV or YouTube, because that way you can share things.
Yeah, you're sharing all your creations, all your ideas, and I mean, that's what we love at Sewing Quarter as well. We love to kind of tell our audience how to do things or inspire them to do things, as well as share what they've made using our fabrics or maybe things that, you know, scraps that they've kind of collected along the way. So I think that's always quite nice. It makes more of a community out of sewing rather than a singular sitting at home.
And it helps with inspiration. So maybe you watch the programs, you read a book, you read a magazine, and you may not want to make that project from start to finish, but you can take elements of it. Think, I'd like to do that, but I'd change it this way. I'd use a different fabric, or I'd completely change it, or I want to do exactly that. And it's giving people a confidence as well, because a lot of people, I don't know why they think sewing machines are so complicated.
I do. Just looking at them.
You can't go wrong with them. You can go wrong with a pair of scissors because you can cut your fabric wrong, but sewing you can unpick, so that's the easy bit. But I think when people see somebody else sewing and see people making mistakes as well and realise that's acceptable, it gives them more of a confidence to think, yeah, I can do that.
What would you say is the biggest mistake that you have made when you've been sewing? Sorry, I just had to ask that question, talking about mistakes.
I tell you what I did once. A friend of mine, she is still a friend of mine, asked me to take a waistcoat that she had and a jacket that was a favourite jacket and take the sleeves out of the jacket and put them onto the waistcoat. It turned out this waistcoat was like a faux fur and it was really heavy on a mesh, like gauze background, and I couldn't get it into the sewing machine, so I had to do it by hand. So I unpicked the sleeves from the jacket. I sewed them by hand with tiny little stitches to make them really, really strong, put both the sleeves in, then realised I put them in the wrong way around, so they're like that.
Oh no.
Then I unpicked them all, sewed them back the right way around, gave her the new jacket, and she says, oh, I don't really like it. She is still a friend, I just don't do alterations for her anymore. But I've sat hand sewing, and I do a lot of smocking, and sewn the project to my skirt.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's still there. I just, walk around a bit of smocking. Sewing in panels the wrong way. Oh, it happens all the time. So loads of mistakes.
I guess it makes it nicer for us all to hear that even the professionals make plenty of mistakes.
I'm sure I'm not the only one. Probably am, but
I want to ask you what your favourite item is that you've ever made. Is that a really tough question?
Yeah, because it's normally the last thing that I've made. I like making bags. I have made quite a few hundred bags over the years. I've still got them all. I call it insulation in the loft. But I like figuring out how things are made. So if I have in my mind, right, I want to make quite a large bag, I want to put a zip pocket on the front and elasticated pockets on the back and an adjustable strap and quite a wide gusset, but maybe I'll shape it. I like almost like the mathematics behind it. Yeah. So figuring out how to make the pattern and then it makes it all the more exciting when it all comes together. And that's the kind of thing that I like to do with my books and kits and things like that. So you don't have to bother doing the maths at home. That's just something that I enjoy. I enjoy dressmaking. That's kind of my background because my mum was a dressmaker. I also like shopping. So I don't tend to do so much making. But I do have 2 granddaughters.
Oh, okay.
And it is coming up for summertime, and there's lots of patterns for pretty dresses out there, so that's something that I will be doing this summer.
Oh, so that's what you'll be looking forward to.
Oh yeah,
making all their dresses. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, when I was younger, my mum and my grandma always used to make dresses for me, and I still actually have the dress that I wore to my auntie's wedding. I was a bridesmaid, and my mum made it, and I mean, I don't know when I'm ever going to use it ever again, but it's just one of those things that you like to hold on to, especially if it's made from a family member.
Yeah, it's a shame really. Back in, when I was younger, in 1850, there wasn't the cameras on your phones. You had a camera, you had your film, you had to take it to the chemist and have it developed, and it was quite expensive. So we didn't tend to have so many pictures back then. In fact, even when my kids were little, we didn't take so many pictures.
So you've got to keep the memories.
Yes, yeah. So there's no record of the little dresses that my mum used to dress me and my sister in identically. Hated it at the time, but it's kind of cute when you look back. Whereas with nowadays, your phone's just full of pictures.
Okay, Debbie, can you tell us a little fact about yourself that maybe our viewers won't know already? So you've got to delve really deep for this one.
Okay. You wouldn't know that I dropped out of needlework at school. Didn't enjoy it, wasn't very good at it, didn't like the teacher.
Oh, okay.
And I did pottery instead, so I've actually got a pottery O-level. And the only time I've actually used that skill, if you like, I used to own a couple of gift shops in the 1980s, and I made pots to sell in the shops.
And you haven't done it ever since?
That before. No, that
Never.
was it.
Oh. So we haven't got any pottery hiding around here that you've made?
Well, I'd like to say, but no pottery around here. I made a a study of hands, and I made bowls out of hands. And my theory was all about Wedgwood.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I've never actually pursued a career in pottery.
Did you carry on sewing while you were doing your pottery O level? And so did you keep that kind of hobby going in the background?
Yeah, because when so my mum was a dressmaker. When me and my sister were little, we didn't buy clothes. We had them made, or my mum made them for us. So when I became a teenager and thought it was fashionable, there was no going out shopping, not the pocket money that I had. So I made clothes. So that was always in the background. When I left home and I got married and I had the kids, then I'd got a house to make things for. So I used to make the curtains and the cushion covers and things like that. And then the kids' clothes. It was just always there. I used to think everybody could sew. You know, when you're brought up like that, you think everyone can sew, everyone can cook, everyone can change the tyre on a car, when that's been your background. So it was quite a surprise when sewing kind of became a career, to realise how many people don't sew and who want to. You know, no matter what stage in life you are, again, all ages of people are coming up and saying, I want to learn how to do that.
Yeah, I started learning from my grandma and my mum how to sew and knit, and I started off with some snoods. Simple scarves, didn't have to do much, and then I decided to start going on to jumpers. I thought maybe I could push my boundaries, and I've been making the same jumper for about 3 years. So it's not as easy as it was for you, for all of us. But it's definitely something that I think so many people want to do, and I really want to finish my jumper. I got stuck on the neckline where I had to switch over from the knit. But I'll get there eventually.
You probably won't. It's going to be UFO for the rest of your life.
I know, I'm just going to have to start a new project, aren't I? I'm just going to have to leave that one once it's gone past 3 years. But I know that my mum, when she used to make jumpers for us at Christmas time, she'd start a year ahead, so it'd be ready for Christmas. But I guess you just get distracted. It's just so
can't
easy.
do that though. If I'm making something, I've got to make it from start to finish. So
Okay.
whether it's a dress or a bag, or even if I'm making a quilt, I can shut myself away for days because I can't bear to leave anything half finished.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's my trick. Maybe once I start a project, I can't stop until it's finished.
Can't come into work today, I haven't finished my project.
I know, imagine. Don't think everyone at Sewing Court will be very happy with that, but I might try it. Debbie, do you have any top tips that you would like to give to our viewers? I mean, I need your help too. You've given plenty already throughout, but what is your main top tips?
The main thing I'd say to anybody who's interested in sewing, starting sewing, given up on sewing, allow yourself to make mistakes. Expect to make mistakes. You learn from mistakes. You'll never do that mistake again. Nothing's going to go smoothly when you first start sewing. You'll cut a wobbly line, you'll sew a wobbly line, you'll get your fabric caught in the feed dogs and think you've broken your sewing machine, you'll break a needle. It will happen, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Expect it. Nothing goes perfectly the very first time. Years ago, when I learnt to drive, I can remember sitting in the car next to my instructor, and he said, right, start at the engine, put your foot on the clutch, and then off we go. I said, why'd you put your foot on the clutch? He said, well, don't then, see what happens. And we kangarooed down the road, and it was a real learning curve for me, because I couldn't figure out why you had to do all these things. He showed me why, because that's what happens. And it's the same kind of thing with allowing yourself to make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, what will happen if the thread doesn't go through the machine properly? Try it, you're not going to break it. And then you'll understand when things do happen, why they went wrong like that. And persevere, because sewing's not difficult. I'll tell you what's difficult. Setting the clock on your cooker. Never figured that one out. But sewing's not difficult, it's just a case of persevering. You won't sew in a straight line first time. You wouldn't ride a bike in a straight line the first time, but you keep on practising with that until you do. So just keep practising. Anybody can do this, you can do this.
I guess practice always makes perfect, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So we just got to keep on going. I will make that jumper eventually. Okay, so Debbie, we're all here today to get to know you a little bit better, come and have a little snoop around this beautiful house before you come on to our show in the Sewing Court studio. Do you want to give us a little sneak peek about what we can all expect for when you come in?
Well, you're going to be seeing something brand new, that I've never done before. You're also going to see another side of what I do in my spare time, if you like, which hasn't got anything to do with sewing.
Oh, okay.
So I'm taking what I have as my hobby, which is another one of those things that not many people know about. So the hobby that I have that's not sewing, and I'm bringing that with sewing to bring you brand new projects that I've never done before. That's exciting
Wow,
stuff, isn't it?
It is. I'm trying to like comprehend everything. It's going to be exciting, and we can't wait to have you in the studio.
Me too.
So we look forward to seeing you then.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.